bit of clinking. Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi, Muriel.
So I want to welcome everyone here today. I'm absolutely thrilled to have so many people, so many friends and neighbours and fellow weavers and artists coming. So thank you so much, everyone, for that. So I've exhibited in quite a lot of group shows over the years, but rarely have had a solo show, and that's been an ambition of mine. But not only just to have a solo show, I wasn't drinking, but to have it quite close to home meant a lot to me, because just to have that connection. And so I was really pleased when my submission to the gallery here was accepted, and I just want to thank everyone in the gallery, because they've been fantastic, just very warm and welcoming, and I think they did a wonderful job with all the hanging. I think it looks really well, so thank you so much.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, close to home. So where I live is just on the other side of Bray Head, and so I live beside the North Beach, and walk regularly on the cliff walk there, which is such a beautiful, inspiring place to live. It's inspired a lot of the colours in the work here. And that's my connection now with Peter. And I want to thank Peter very much for accepting my invitation to come and talk today. That's been wonderful. So Peter Murtagh, as you know, is a renowned former Irish Times journalist and author. He's written a lot of books on mainly political subjects, but then since your retirement, to do with his walks on the Camino with his daughter and his adventures on his BMW going from Patagonia to Alaska. That book is tip to top. So,
in all good bookshops.
So I think you wrote that you weren't going to spend your retirement working on a vegetable patch, which is very true. You haven't been vegetating.
No.
So Peter and his colleagues have been working on a campaign to push for the speedy reopening of the cliff walk, and that's something that I'm fully behind, and so I'm delighted with that connection and to have you here. So I'll let you carry on now.
Okay. Thank you, Muriel. Thank you very much for that introduction. It is lovely to be here. And as my sister Jane noted on a Facebook comment on the imminence of my being where I'm standing now, I didn't see that coming, she said, and neither did I. But it is lovely to be here and to be surrounded by such skill and such beauty. It's all down to, as Muriel has said, friends of the Cliff Walk. And this began late last August, when a few of us over the hill, perhaps in more ways than one, got together because we were fed up that the Cliff Walk had been closed at that time for just over 3.5 years, and now almost 4 years. And those of us who got together include Dermot Dwyer, who's here with us today. And Dermot is a retired, although not very retired, businessman, used to run the convention centre in Dublin, and is also chairman of Powerscourt. And in his personal capacity, he's one of our key members, and he has a long record in tourism and hospitality. Donal Flynn, who some of you may know. Donal is the happy pair dad, and he's a retired engineer and a long-time campaigner on environmental and sustainable matters. And Adam Kelly runs a business in Greystones called Pura Vida. He's into fitness and keeping oneself healthy through activity, and he's also the physical fitness advisor to the Gavin Glynn Foundation, that some of you may know run the triathlon in Greystones every year. And then there's Georgia Gallagher, a businesswoman who lives in Kilmac on the side of the Sugarloaf and advises up-and-coming business women, I think mainly on social media and all of that. And since then we've been joined by other people, Barry, Pete and Kevin from Bray, who's a mean man with a slash hook. And we sort of announced ourselves on social media on a Facebook page called Friends of the Cliff Walk that now has over 1,000 people following it, and we do Instagram as well. And we began clearing the pathway on Saturday morning, spending a couple of hours there, starting on the Greystone side, with the group of us and some of the volunteers I've mentioned. And as of yesterday, we have now cleared from Greystones up to the top of the Greystone side, if you like, up to that junction with the Cliff Road. And well, we'll just see where we go from here. We think the closure of the walk is a scandal, and it's just a careless disregard for something that's a huge asset to the community, both here in Bray and in Greystones. And it's an asset for health and fitness, for people getting out walking, jogging, as we see them doing, for mental health as well, which I think is really important. The benefits of being in the countryside and just walking and looking at nature and all of that, it puts things in perspective, I think, when you're maybe down or worried about things. And then there's the business side of it. We've spoken to loads of people, mostly on the Greystones side, who say things like, you know, a small cafe owner who says, I'm down 500 customers a week. Another person said they were down about 30%. And while that's perhaps not the most important thing, it's very important to those businesses and the people who work in them. So this linear coastal walkway, in our view, should be an absolute jewel in the crown of Wicklow tourism. And there are problems. It was closed because of a rockfall and because of a boulder clay slippage on the Greystone side, but they're not insurmountable. It's an engineering solution that's needed. And there's a short-term solution and there's a longer-term solution. But like almost 4 years, that's the length of the Second World War. And it hasn't been fixed, you know, and there doesn't seem to be much interest in some quarters in having it fixed. Many of the councillors support what we're doing and have been supportive of us. And the Taoiseach indeed has announced this initiative of a task force to look at it with a view to getting it reopened. And you know, we would hope to play a part in that, and would love to see a target of St. Patrick's Day next year. All it takes really is commitment and willingness and a can-do approach. So all of this frenetic activity caught the attention of Muriel, and we're sort of related. Muriel was at college with Jane, a metalwork artist who's also here today, based in Clare and hopefully in the future maybe more so on this side of the country. And Muriel's parents, Madeline and Horner, were great friends of our parents, Tom and Olive. Muriel and Jane went to Dún Laoghaire School of Art together, and the pair have remained friends ever since. Muriel progressing through life as a mother and an artist and as a teacher back in Dún Laoghaire, and also at Stewart's Hospital in Lucan, with a segue to Finland, where I'm sure the Scandinavian light and open countryside has been part of what has inspired you. But it was the Cliff Walk that had Muriel contact Jane and then myself. And she said that she wanted to help in any way she could, and hence invited me here tonight. And in preparation for that, I went to Muriel's home, a small cottage, by the start of the walk on the Greystone side. She's got a lovely studio at the end of the garden, a long narrow garden, and there's a wooden studio at the end, and from it there's a lovely view to the Irish Sea. And the studio is so neat and tidy, not at all like Francis Bacon's, or my wife, more emeritus, I should add. And when I commented on this to Muriel, she said, when you choose a craft, you're sometimes matching your personality, and I suppose I am quite neat. The loom is, to me, is a machine of precision, yarn threaded through the warp and the weft to make pictures. Muriel's inspiration is the nature that she sees all around her. The sea views from the back garden, the cliff walk wending its way across the landscape, the trees, the hedgerows, the colours of the seasons, the sun and the moon. Nature is her muse. And you can tell that by what you see here, as well as the titles she uses for her works: Lone Tree, Golden Sky, Pale Moon, Barley Fields, Headland and Pathways. And in the wall hangings and tapestries, you can see the attention to detail involved in her weaving when you look really closely. The precise but tiny changes of yarn, changes of colour to help create or recreate a picture. I think there's also an impressionistic quality reflected in some of the titles as well. Ripples, Shimmer, Sea of Dreams, Evening Glow, and the Cobalt series you see here. I really love them. I love the warmth, the subtlety, and the softness. And I love the fact that they're celebrating what's all around us. You can just walk out from here and you can see it. And Muriel said to me again when I was down visiting her, when I walk, I see things. It might be the colours in a plant, or a field, or a tree, and I take a picture. So without looking for ideas, I come back, and they're there in my mind, and come out later as a colour or a flash of light in a natural way. In art school, she said, she learned observation. You're trained to observe things. And though her work has a meditative quality to it as well, I think, particularly the ones where you have a moon or a sun reflected in what's obviously a seascape. And she said, I don't set out to do that, but it's me, and it comes from living here, from walking the walk. It just comes out. Muriel, your work is really beautiful, inspired by the cliff walk landscape, by our coast and seascape. Your weaving also inspires us to look at the beauty that you have taken from nature and have reimagined, reshaped, and added to and presented back to us. Thank you and well done. One day when our cliff walk is back, perhaps how you see the landscape around you will be reflected in how the walk itself is presented to the public. I hope many people come here to see what's on display and support your work and the work of the Signal Arts Centre. Thank you.
You're very kind. So Peter's obviously taken all this time to come and visit me and think of his words, and so I really do appreciate that, and I love what you said, and I just felt you got me. So this is just a little sketch for some of the ideas of the shapes around the cliff walk. So
beautiful. Lovely.
You can see those here in the weavings. Really lovely. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Put that safely there. Yeah, thank you so much. That was lovely. Great. Lovely. Really nice.